What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'll be top speed drag race testing a new Invetero Coquette D10 versus the top 5 sports class cars. I'll also test it against a sports car ahead and below its final position for reference. Keep in mind that this track is perfectly flat, therefore the results are not the same as testing it in the city or on a highway where the speed is different. All cars are fully modified. Also, as newer cars release, the positions of these cars may change. So if you're wondering why certain sports cars are missing, that's because they were too slow to make it into the top 5 list. The timestamps for each car will be in the pinned comment where you can select exactly which races you want to see. I'll also summarize the results and provide my overall opinion on the Coquette D10 at the end of the video. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so according to testing of this perfectly flat track, that places the Coquette D10 in 12th place out of the 72 raceable sports class cars currently in game. Now I will mention that the Coquette D10 does seem to have a weird bug where it does not want to shift into its last gear, causing it to go significantly slower in this test. It would have easily been top 5 if it could shift into that last gear. Now on normal city roads with highways and bumps, the D10 will shift into its last gear, but not on this flat surface for some reason. I tried different transmission upgrades and it still wouldn't shift into the last gear. But anyways, as far as performance, this car's acceleration is not that great, as I'm sure most of you have noticed. Also, it doesn't handle very well at all. It likes to spin out in corners and also understeer into them. It's just a mess in terms of handling. I find it very unfortunate that they made the performance of this car so strange. Alright, so if we compare it to the car just before its position, which is the regular Massacro in 11th place, you can see how close it is with the Coquette right there, pretty close to it the entire race. And again, the main reason that it can't pass the Massacro is because it can't shift into that last gear. Now if we compare it to the car just before its position, which is the Surano, you can see how the Coquette gets out ahead at first, but then the Surano starts to catch up due to its higher top speed, and of course the fact that the D10 again can't shift into its last gear. Pretty interesting outcome there. Now if we compare it to the fastest accelerating sports car in the class, which is the Neon, you can see that the Neon rockets away, but of course the D10 eventually ends up catching up to it and passing it close to the end of the track. So is the D10 worth over $1.5 million? Performance wise, I'd say not really, unless you're going for top speed. As long as you have that minor bump in the road, it will shift into that last gear and go very fast. But again, we have to remember that we have cars like the Pariah, the Itali GTO, which are pretty much in leagues of their own in the sports class, and most sports cars can't even touch them at almost every track. Now, I will say in terms of the car's design and customization, I personally think that Rockstar knocked it out of the park. However, again, they really did mess up the performance of this car, especially in terms of handling. Now, obviously this car is newer and a lot of people are driving it around, but I believe it will eventually be a garage queen for most people, including me. Anyways guys, remember to keep in mind the positions of these cars may change as newer cars release. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.